approaching season 3 differently from the first 2?
I think the best way to put it is we're trying to take some of the lessons that we learned from season 2 and apply them to some of the cooler aspects of season 1. I'll give you a specific example. We felt like season 2 was very successful. We do think it was an improvement over season 1, and I think a lot of fans of Treks felt the same way. But there were elements of season 1 that, just because of the nature of the story we were telling in season 2, we were lacking, such as season 1 had a really cool overarching mystery. You had the glyph, you had the undertaking, you were kind of wondering what was going on. There was, what we called in the scripts the well-dressed man, who turned out to be Melvin Merlin. And we wanted to basically take the epic quality of season 2 and infuse it with the mystery of season 1. And hopefully we've accomplished that, and it'll be like all the stuff that you love from season 1 combined with all the stuff you love from season 2. That's the overarching approach. You guys will have to tell us if we're successful.
You see some characters come and go, and you hear that Thomas can make a little dream sequence appearance.
Not dream, a flashback.
But
sorry. Yes.
Sarah's gone, and might she be coming back as well?
Sarah's coming back.
Okay.
Katie Lotz is in a recurring role. We made a deal for 3 episodes, but at current count, we're going to have her in for 5, at least. Obviously, we're always, with all of our recurring cast members, we always have to work around their schedules, because they use a Hollywood term in first position, but we love Katie. We have really cool plans for her. One of the things we're dying to do, we don't know what episode it's going to be in, but we're dying to do a flashback story that basically takes Sarah from the downing of the freighter in episode 223 all the way up to her time with the League of Assassins. So it would be how she met Nissa, how she ended up in Nanda Parbat, her evolution into an assassin. That is something that's always been on our wish list.
There's like to be more Katrina Law as well.
Oh, there's definitely going to be some more Katrina Law. We'll have some announcements to make about that forthcoming. And we, one of the things we do enjoy about the show is the fact that we've got a large ensemble plus a large ensemble of returning, recurring actors. And it's funny, when Colin Donnell filmed his death scene for episode 123, I went up to him and said, I'm so glad that we do a show that uses flashbacks. And we're finally paying that off, and it's really going to be fun to see Steven and Colin share the screen again together in something that's not a hallucination.
What about Manu Bennett? Can you say anything?
Yeah, Manu actually falls in the same category. We've got an awesome story for Slade Wilson. Obviously we didn't kill him off at the end of season 2, and it's just a matter of syncing up our schedule and his schedule and our creative timeline with his schedule. So, but we'd love to have him back on the show.
Do you feel any need to have the show go darker or be a big contrast to The Flash now?
No, it's funny. We don't. But we have talked a lot, and we did this last year too. We've always talked in terms of how dark the flashback should be relative to the present day stories. And as we go lighter in the present day because of Oliver's journey to being a hero, we feel an obligation to sort of balance the show out by having flashbacks that are a little bit darker in tone. And I personally, I'm not involved with The Flash, but I've basically been pitching the idea, maybe you guys can help me out with this. I feel like, Arrow, for 2, now going on 3 seasons, we've been doing flashbacks. I think Flash should do, help me, come on, Arrowbacks, come on. Yeah. Flash forward. No, I think it's a great idea. I don't know, I keep pitching that, but that's not getting any traction.
You talked about the ensemble of the cast. It has so many great female characters, which is, not the norm on TV. Can you talk a little bit about how that was approached, having, any qualities?
One thing that we really strive for in the show is diversity of all forms. We're very proud of our racial diversity on the show. very proud of our gender diversity and having female characters on the show who aren't just sex objects, who have agency, who are tough. I mean, Felicity Smoke, she's by no means an ass kicker, but she's very tough and she has an inner steel to her. Same thing with Thea. This year obviously Thea's going to be going through some changes because of basically her association with Malcolm Merlin, and that I think will bring her into more on the ass-kicking side of the spectrum. But as Malcolm said to her in episode 23, that she has real steel in her, she has real iron in her, and Moira, so we try with all the female characters to give them a strength, but not make that strength limited to kicking ass, though we have plenty of that, obviously. I think people will be very happy with Laurel's trajectory specifically this year in that regard. She's going to start trying to walk the path that her sister walked, which is sort of something we set up in the season finale. And I think people are going to be really excited to see where that goes.
Can you expand a bit on where Thea's going? I mean, obviously there's so many Arrow sidekicks that she could eventually be, but...
Well, I think one of the things that's safe to say is this season is really going to be a battle for Thea's soul. So it's not necessarily, and it's Arrow, so it's not necessarily going to have a happy ending to it. Certainly there is the potential, in her name. We've been calling her Speedy since the pilot. But one of the things that we like to do is play against that expectation. So we're, hopefully the ups and downs of Thea's arc this year will be compelling but also surprising. We always want to surprise you guys.
Talk a bit about bringing Brandon Routh in as Adam and how that will.
It really, as it's funny. We never start with, oh, this is an actor. We always start with the character first. And we basically went into season 3 with a couple of models in mind in terms of, on third season of Everwood, Greg brought in Scott Wolf and really shook up the show. Third season of Buffy, Joss Whedon brought in Eliza Dushku and really shook up the show. The idea of a new character coming in being a change agent for a set ensemble was very appealing to us. That was one paradigm, one parameter. The other parameter was, we have Felicity, who she sort of, from a dialogue perspective, lives in a different world than everybody else. And we've been saying, Emily, from a witty banter perspective, has sort of been playing tennis against the wall, and we wanted to give her a tennis partner. So that through that, the character of Ray Palmer started to evolve. And then we just started meeting with and auditioning actors, and Brandon expressed an interest in sitting down with us, and we couldn't have been more thrilled. And I have to say, that meeting just blew me away. I was just so entranced by him, quite frankly. He's an incredibly nice guy. He has remarkable screen presence, and takes adjustments. He's such as an actor, he's an incredibly finely tuned instrument. And I mean that as the highest compliment. He really can give nuance to every little line, and you can really fine-tune and adjust it. It's a real privilege to work with him. And the scenes with Emily are they're so much fun. They're everything that I could have hoped for. We're trying to write a little bit of a Spencer Tracy Kathleen Hepburn kind of relationship, and that's something that's very much in our wheelhouse as writers. And it's just fun to see it come to life with Emily and Brandon.
Will you show up his powers pretty quickly, or will you hold off on that?
I think one of the things that is fun about Brandon's character is that, a lot of our characters sort of come in like Frodo, here's Ray Palmer, here's Slade Wilson. When are they going to finish that evolution to their what I call their comic book destinies? You sort of have to see, and that's part of to me that's a big part of the show. And the fun of the show is when is it going to happen, and how's it going to happen, and are we going to surprise you? Because we do that on occasion, but we have a really cool plan in mind for Brandon, and he's game. We told him the very first day where we were headed with him, and he was excited, and I'm excited too.